My grandpa passed away on the 4th of May 2018. The funeral lasted 3 days as per Korean tradition. The first day, people came over to our home to mourn and pay their respects. On the second day, we held a small church service with our family and close friends. On the third day, we held another service, but with more friends and acquaintances. We were also presented with his dead body laid in his coffin for us to look at for one last time before it closed. I held his hands. It was cold and clammy, completely devoid of life. I still wasn't sure if I was ready to let him go. The next few weeks after felt like a blur. It was my first time ever experiencing a loss this deep, and it still felt surreal to me that he was gone. Everywhere I went, I'd see traces of him. I'd walk past the tennis courts and remember when we used to play. I'd walk past a restaurant we went every week and see images of him eating his favorite crispy chicken with tomato rice. I'd go to my grandma's house and remember when he used to rock on the chair reading the newspaper. I was just in a world of my own. I had also stopped interacting with my friends. Something about this experience. It changed my perception of my friends. If I felt this hurt whenever someone close to me passed away, I wasn't sure I would have the confidence to live like this. Maybe it was just better to not be attached to anyone so that I wouldn't feel this sadness. Maybe it was just better to live alone. With that in mind, I conducted an experiment, isolating myself away from my friends for a month. I was curious about how my life would be if I just cut my friends out. I've always been the type to just stay home and do introverted activities like play games or practice music by myself, so I wasn't really expecting it to be that big of a change from my normal lifestyle. But it wasn't exactly as easy as I had expected. At the start, I struggled mentally from a lack of social interaction and generally felt really lonely in this new lifestyle, missing my friends. I'd scroll through Instagram feeds and see videos of them partying or doing something fun, which would make me feel even lonelier. But after the first week, I started to get a bit used to this feeling of emptiness, and even though I still felt lonely from time to time, it was starting to become somewhat bearable. Over time, I stopped caring about the Instagram feeds or what my friends could be doing and started to focus more on myself. I started to reflect on the funeral. A lot of people had come, telling me how my grandpa had changed their lives, and they all described him as a kind-hearted, generous man with a strong moral sense of righteousness. Listening to their stories made me realize the legacy that my grandpa had left behind, and the change that he had made onto the world. I realized I wanted to continue his legacy and create a positive change to the world as well. After that, I started to learn new skills in hopes of learning more about myself. I started a gaming channel, to which I continued for 2 years, and built a community there. I started to learn how to sing and rap as a hobby for a few years, and got in touch with my emotional self. I started to exercise daily and understand my physical limits. And before I knew it, my month of isolation was over. I went back to my normal life, hanging out and studying with my friends again like before. But something inside me had changed. There were a lot of adjustments that I saw, like dedicating more time to my family and close friends. I started to have a stronger opinion in my own growth, and even understand my own moral code even more. It almost felt as if there was someone guiding me to become a better person. I've visited his grave every few months to connect with him through my memories and update him with my progress in life. Every time, before I would leave, I would thank him for everything he's done for me and tell him to look forward to what's coming next. And every time after I start to leave, I'll just smile for no reason. Maybe it's from realization that it's finally all over. Or maybe it was my realization over the past few months that, although he's no longer with us physically anymore, his legacy will continue to live on.